Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you guys are all having a great day. Lots of interesting reports coming out this morning with regard to Newcastle United, and it's not on the pitch, it is off the pitch, and it is all to do with commercial revenues and the fact that Newcastle want to push back against FFP, fight against FFP. We know that Newcastle have the new owners who have come in with a lot of money that they want to spend, but because of FFP, because of the rules in place, you can only spend so much here, so much there. You can only pretty much spend what you bring in as a club, or you can only spend so much over the top of that. And how do you solve that problem? Bring more money in. As a club, you pretty much have, three revenues. You have the broadcasts, you have the TV money coming in, you have the match day money coming in from the tickets, even the shirt sales, the pints and the pies, and then you also have the commercial revenue. The sponsors, the sleeve sponsors that we've seen Noon come in very recently, and how can Newcastle try and generate more commercial revenue? Funnily enough, I did a video just yesterday in my Toon Tuesdays, which I do every week, talking about the fact that reports have come out that Newcastle could well consider a name change at St James's Park, a stadium partner, a stadium sponsor, as a potential way to bring in more commercial revenue. This video will be a lot more general, and there has been a name linked to a new chief commercial officer who is set to be joining the club. But if you are interested to learn a little bit more about the stadium sponsor, go and check out the video from yesterday. Be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. I am posting daily Newcastle content right now, so if you are new to the channel, or maybe you just haven't clicked that button yet, just scroll down a little bit and hit that red button. It really helps. But as I say, as of this morning, reports coming out that Newcastle are set to bring in a new chief commercial officer, a massively important role given to, grow that commercial revenue and push back on FFP restrictions. Now, as it happens, 5 minutes before I've come on, Craig Hope over at the Daily Mail has said that the person set to receive this job, or set to be appointed, and as I say, nothing's been official, but I'll talk to you a little bit in a moment about some of the stuff that has come out and what Newcastle could do. But the name being pushed ahead is a man called Peter Silverstone. Now, funnily enough, he was actually at Arsenal for 7 years and had 4 years at Arsenal in a chief commercial role. So he's been at Arsenal, a big club with, let's be honest, a huge commercial revenue themselves. And he's been a big part of that for a number of years. He also spent some time as a business development director. I was actually having a little look at his LinkedIn before I came on, and if I'm not mistaken, he currently works as a global development officer at the OneFootball app. You might have heard of that before. I've used it. They sponsor quite a couple of YouTubers as well. So I think that's where he is now, but he looks potentially set to be joining Newcastle United, and I think it's something we all knew was coming out. I was actually quite surprised by the comments on my video yesterday about the potential name change to Newcastle United, and I had some really good comments and some quite well thought out comments, because my general reaction was, I don't want St James's Park's name to change, and I haven't changed my mind on that. I still don't want that. But what was interesting in some of your guys' comments, and please comment down below again, because I find them really interesting sometimes with everybody's opinion. Quite a lot of people were saying, back when Ashley changed the stadium and nobody wanted that, this time round, if it were to be Armaco at St James's Park, or St James's Park Armaco, or something to keep St James's. A lot of you guys said, but this time round we are getting something back. There is a reason for that. The money will go in the club. The money will be spent on the players. The money will be spent on this training ground, and there's a big difference there. And I do actually appreciate that opinion, because that is correct. Back when it got changed last time, it was in nobody's control. Nobody wanted it. In my opinion, Mike Ashley, did it possibly to annoy the fans more than anything else. So that's how it felt at the time. These owners aren't playing the game that way. But as I say, there is a lot of avenues to go down when you talk about Newcastle's current commercial department. It's understood that there's around 4 or 5 people in the commercial department at Newcastle United at the moment, compared to the likes of Chelsea, Manchester United. These guys have got 250 to 300 staff working in the commercial revenues department alone. So that is where they are, and we know for a fact that that's where Newcastle want to try and get to. You talk about Yasser, the chairman of Newcastle, in his podcast interview. He said that he wants to rival the likes of Chelsea with a 2.5 billion growth in the club Newcastle United. How do you get there? You get there by increasing things like the commercial revenue, like the global development, the brand, the everything to draw eyes on and bring more money in. And they kind of go hand in hand, because the more eyes that are on, the more people are looking at your sponsors, the more money you can charge the sponsors, the more money that comes in towards Newcastle generally. The shirts and everything always bulks up. But as I say, it looks like we're taking a step in that direction now with a new chief commercial officer. You think to Amanda and Murdad's interview as well, where they spoke about the fact that they've brought in Darren Neal as the CEO, they've brought in Dan Ashworth to help with the runnings of the club and the transfers, and they said themselves that they are there to support and help the club. But it's almost got to that point now where they got in and they had to do the job. As I said in my video yesterday, Murdad played Football Manager because there was nobody there to do it. They've now had the time, they've had the chance to look in, interview, and we're starting to really bring in people who are great at their jobs, and we're putting them in those positions that they are going to run with. And as I've said, if it is Peter Silverstone, we don't know yet. We saw it with Dan Ashworth. He came, in high regard from Brighton. Darren Neal's from over in America. This guy, as I say, 7 years experience at Arsenal. He knows what he's doing. But just to kind of name a couple of the roads we can run down. Obviously, I mentioned the stadium already, so be sure to check that out in yesterday's video. But really, it's kind of, as I say, growing the brand as well. You think about like the social media presence of Newcastle and the fact that since the takeover went through, and I've praised it so much myself, how much there is on the Twitter. People asking the Twitter admin, can we see pictures of the Jody Maradona? And they're posting pictures of Elliot Anderson. They're on the YouTubes posting the trip away over to Austria and just general training photos, match day highlights. Like they are pushing the. It's for us. It's for us to enjoy as fans, but it's putting out the club as a sense. Using social media to try and grow the brand, get more eyes on Newcastle, more people who can pay in, who can pay money in, and you think about. Player sponsors as well. Obviously, we have sponsors in the matchday programs. We saw that Noon has come in as the sleeve sponsor. It's reported that Noon are actually paying more for that sleeve sponsor than Fun 88 are for the front sponsor, which is a mix between, in my opinion, I'll say, the fact that the previous ownership wasn't out there to create and generate money for the club, but for their own brands, and that was what sets these two apart. Right now, Newcastle United, the owners are trying to create more money for Newcastle United, and to do that, things like the exposure, bringing in new sponsorship deals. You think, I'm just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of the Newcastle Eagles up the road. They all got given cars. You think of Manchester United, Chevrolet give them all a car. Having the players spotted in the cars brings money to the sponsor, and then the sponsor pays more because the player is spotted and it's all these kind of back and forth things that will help generate more and more. And as I say, to bring in a new chief commercial officer is what we need, and it's step one. I spoke about this yesterday as well, about moving into the second phase of Newcastle United under the new era, I would be tempted to say that this is the true first step. Unless you want to call phase one is just the correction, because I think staying up last season was huge, and that was almost like the time to think. And as we now step into year 2 of the takeover, now it is, how do we push forward now? What do we next? What positions do we fill? And as I say, you talk about the new chief coming in. These are all positions that under, in my opinion, under the previous ownership was not seen as essential. Now, to get to where the owners want to be, get to where Yasser wants to be, these positions are becoming essential so that we can carry out this 5 to 10 year plan that they have created. So let me know your thoughts down below on the new commercial chief officer that is set to come in. As I say, no one's been appointed yet, but we do know it's something they've been looking at. There's already been mentions of the fact of how small the commercial team is currently. Fancy yourself a job in the Newcastle commercial team. I think there's going to be jobs flying in left, right and centre, to be honest. So keep your eyes out for that one. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to let me know your thoughts down below on the commercial revenues. What do you think Newcastle could do that maybe I haven't listed already? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. Enjoy your week. It will be my predictions video tomorrow. Friday will be the preview. And then obviously it's the game against Manchester United at the weekend. So as I've mentioned, subscribe. Do not miss any daily content. Thank you for watching. And I'll catch you later.